Good day, everyone, to those who are listening to this video. For today's discussion for this video, I'm going to discuss data analysis, referring to how to create research objectives for efficient data analysis. As I browse to some of the student researcher, their objectives is not aligned or their objectives are not aligned to the title and to the research question. So for this video, I will be discussing how to create research objectives for efficient data analysis. Because sometimes your research objectives is not easy to analyze because it is not well presented. This is a technique. Once your title is approved by your advisor, you can go directly to the research objectives. Make an objectives for your research, and then out from your research objectives, you can get research questions. Or the other way around. You can have the research question and then do the research objectives. But make sure the title, your objective is aligned to the title. Sometimes the title is so broad, but the objectives is too specific or it does not relate to the title. So I hope this video will help you in understanding on how to create research objectives for efficient data analysis. Because we as statisticians, we refer to the research objectives as our objective in analyzing your data. So for this presentation, we will be having a discussion of a SMART objectives. I think mostly of us, we already know what is SMART, S-M-A-R-T. And then the second one, I will be showing you some sample research titles. If it is a SMART, if we can do some SMART objectives there. Then the last one is I will be discussing some research objectives relating to correlational research design, descriptive research design, and also experimental research design. So let's go first to the reference. This one is only based on my experience as a statistician, doing objectives or creating objectives that is efficient for data analysis. So, our objectives should be SMART. Sometimes, your objective is not SMART enough. What does it mean when we say SMART? The first one is specific. We need to make our objectives or goal to be specific and narrow for more effective planning. This is what I have mentioned earlier, that sometimes your objectives is narrow, but your title is very generic. And then your objective is not really reflecting entirely the title. So your objective should be specific as to what the title wants to convey the entire research. It should be measurable. Make sure your goal and progress are measurable. Because sometimes we cannot measure because the scope of your study is very big. Like you want to study it is whole region 8. So make sure your objectives is achievable. Like for example, you want to conduct an experiment, but you don't have enough materials to do it. You don't have enough tools to measure such data or such variables. So make sure that you have the tools once you do some objectives or once you do some research, and it should be achievable. Make sure you can reasonably accomplish your goal within a certain time frame. So since mostly of my students are conducting a research within 1 year, make sure that your research is only good for 1 year. Or maybe the data collection should only span for 3 months because you need to do your manuscript. So, achievable. Sometimes your objectives will deal with data collection that involve cropping. So, cropping will take a lot of time. So, when are you going to collect data? You need to learn about that achievable. I also have a client who wants to do some tracer study, but they only have 3 months and they're going to trace 3 campuses for those graduates of a specific degree. I will not mention it. It is not achievable because they only have like 3 months and they're still formulating their manuscript. And then the respondents, how many respondents are going to respond to their research? So, because they want to do complete enumeration. So, complete enumeration is you're going to collect data from those all graduates. But you cannot trace them because their scope is like around 3 years. So make sure that your objectives is achievable and then relevant. Your goals should align with your values and long-term objectives. For example, you are taking up agribusiness. So since for the future, you want to be a agribusiness enthusiast, you need to do research that is aligned to your degree program because in a long term, you will be using that one. Also for teacher education, since your major is teacher education, it's better that you study about intervention that is effective in teaching. So that's relevant. And also the effect of timely disease, or for example, during the COVID-19, if your research is all about COVID-19, so it's good because it's relevant and it is relevant to the community and it is helpful. You can recommend anything that will help to improve our community. So the last one is time-based. Set a realistic but ambitious and date to clarify task prioritization and increase motivation. So in time-based, you need to have the idea of time-bound. For my data collection, these objectives will be met. We can collect the data within a specific period of time. So that is time-based. For example, I can collect the data for 3 months. So you will experience that one, or you will automatically know once you're a statistician. But sometimes students are not really aware of it. That's why they need to consult a statistician if their study is time-based, if they can finish it within a months before their graduation. Okay, so these are the objectives or the guide in making an objectives or making objectives. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So the second of my presentation outline is I will be giving you some sample research titles. So these are the research title given by my students. So they align this one to their feasibility study, dream business, and economic problem relating to business. I am handling Department of Agribusiness. So that's why they are dealing with a lot of research that involve business, especially related to agricultural. So here, they have given me this title, and let's construe this one if it is achievable, if it is a smart title, or can we make objectives out from this title? Okay, the first one is Enhancing Agricultural Sustainability, a study on maximizing the efficacy of organic pesticide for sustainable farming practices. So here, we need to identify variables. We have here sustainable. That's also agricultural. Then when we talk about sustainable, it talks about time. How did they sustain throughout time their agricultural practices? It is a study on maximizing the efficacy of organic pesticides for sustainable farming practices. So we have here, this is subject for the approval of their advisor. So we have here the efficacy of organic pesticide. We also have here pesticide. So, and then for sustainable farming practices. Since they are here in Hinunangan, so of course, they will be studying within the municipality because they are students and they don't have enough money to have a broad research study. So that's why here, enhancing research agricultural sustainability. So they will be focusing on the farmers. So farmers, since agriculture, we are referring to farmers, but farmers is, when we say farmers, we also have the vegetable farmers, the poultry farmers, and they could have the scope that only rice farmer. How do they? So since we are talking about farming, it is easy to collect the data for this one. So this is a smart. We can have a smart for students, for my students, with a cost constraints in their research. The next one is the dream business, feathered success, strategic marketing approach of thriving poultry enterprises. So here, this is also, we can also derive some smart objectives here because feathered success, if they are referring to the chickens or to the ducks, so we can get some data here in our municipality. Okay, we have here the economic problem relating to business. Economic consequences of poultry farming, impact of intensive poultry farming on environmental and human health. So since they are referring to poultry farming, maybe we have a lot of farming here. So we can also collect smart objectives, or we can formulate smart objectives out from this research title. Okay, the next one is here, the impact of rice handmade soap and natural skincare consumers. So here they made the title out from their feasibility study and rice handmade soap. So this is relevant to them because they're agribusiness student, but I do not recommend this one to have their study. And then here we have dream business. Actually, we can derive some smart objectives out from this one, but this one is experimental. Then this one, dream business, sustainable pig farming, ensuring the future of pig businesses in sustainable pig farming. So here, since they are talking about pig farming, so we can have we can derive smart objectives out from this title. Here, economic problem, the impact of disease outbreaks to pig farming. So here, we only have few pig farming here in Hinunangan, and they are talking about disease outbreaks. So if they will have the scope and limitation within only the Hinunangan municipality, this is achievable. However, if they want to survey outside from the municipality, we need to consider the cost of going there and collecting them. So if you are going to have your objective, make sure that it is specific. You are only referring to the certain municipality. And take note, once you're doing a research, you need to consider the cost. Okay, so the scope is only here in the municipality. So maybe that is achievable. We can also derive some smart objectives out from this research title. Okay, the next one is the impact of using honey lip balm in the consumer. So since we are only referring to the use of honey lip balm, we can do some descriptive research design for this one. So, and also experimental, but to be easy to the students, descriptive is the easiest one. For this one, it would be fall under the market study, their product, and this is just still their feasibility study. So if we are going to measure the impact of using honey lip balm in the consumer, this will fall under the market study. So I think that's not a good research objective. I mean, research title. If this is coming from your feasibility study, and then you're still going to find out the impact of using honey lip balm, because you will be just asking if they rate it good, how much are they willing to pay? So that's still a market study. It's not a thesis already. Here we have the dream business. So for their dream business, they want to integrated agro-aqua ventures, exploring synergies between poultry and fisheries. Now, in looking at your title, you need to consider if it is present in your locality. So here, agro-aqua ventures, here in our municipality where I am teaching, there is no agro-aqua ventures. So maybe they will travel for 2 hours just to collect data from the agro-aqua ventures. Or maybe they will just assess the perception of the farmer here about the agro-aqua ventures. But that is not a good research already if we are still assessing from farmers who did not experience doing agro-aqua venture. For my students, this is not we cannot derive smart objective this one because of financial constraints and time constraints, because we do not have any available agro-aqua ventures. Economic problem, the impact of labor shortage on business productivity and growth. So since we have a lot of business here in Hinunangan, maybe this one is a good research and we can derive smart objectives out from this one. Okay. So also here we have a comparative study of Tarufa corcus leaf extract and the traditional painkillers in treating minor aches and pain. So in this one, this is experimental. They want to compare Tarufa corcus leaf extract and the traditional painkillers. So out from this title, we can derive smart objectives. However, make sure that you have a money or you have a source for Torpa corcus leaf extract. Otherwise, we cannot derive a smart objectives for this one. Okay? And you need to provide traditional painkillers to do the experiment. Okay? We can have, this one is experimental. So here you have from farm to table, the use of farm to table business in the agricultural industry. So this one is, we can derive smart objective out from this one because we have a lot of agricultural industry here in our community. Then the next one is the impact of globalization on overproduction or vegetables in agricultural sector. So the impact is referring to the globalization on overproduction. This one, from the word globalization, this is not we cannot derive a smart objective here from the word globalization. Do you want to collect data from the other country? Yes, maybe you can collect secondary data, but it is hard to collect data. Maybe you can have a literature review, but this one, for my students, I think you cannot derive smart objectives out from this title. Especially globalization. We are talking about the global. How can we provide food security? The impact of globalization on overproduction of vegetables in agricultural sector. So I think we cannot derive smart objectives out from this title. Okay. The next one is, what are the techniques in making an objectives? So as a statistician, I have noticed that in making an objectives, you need to, number one, list and define the key variables stated in the title. By looking at the title by itself alone, you can determine already if you can derive some objectives that are smart enough. So smart, once we say smart, we have the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So based on the title alone. Then after looking at the title, you need to look at the key variables. So what are the variables of interest based on the title? Once you know the key variables, then provide a clear and concise definition for each variable, explaining its relevance to the study. So every objective, since you already identified the variables, you need to provide a clear and concise definition for each variable, and that would be the next objectives of your study. Then the third one, this where the inferential statistics butt in, or this is where we use inferential statistics. We formulate specific objectives that explore the relationship and interactions between the identified variables, aiming to provide deeper insights into the study's focus area. So example, we have here correlational research design. For example, the title is The Effect of Teaching Performance to Students' Academic Performance. As a review, we need to list and identify the key variables. In here, we have the teaching performance as a variable, and also here another variable is academic performance. Now, what is the unit measure of teaching performance? It could be a rating, and that is ordinal, as what we have discussed in our class. And we have here academic performance. Academic performance could be measured based on their grades or based on their score. So this is the title. Now, how do we make an objective? Objectives could be general and specific. For general, of course, we are just going to rephrase the title. We have here to evaluate the effect of teaching performance to students' academic performance. So overall, we want to see the effect of the teaching performance to student academic performance. Then the next one, we can have specific. Describe the teaching performance of the faculty. You can put here the name of the school in terms of classroom management, class delivery, class recording. So you need to do the second one. Provide a clear and concise definition for each variable. So here, the first one talks about the teaching performance because we have two variables here, teaching performance and academic performance. Classroom management, you measure the classroom management. The teacher conducts some, you can find a literature that could measure classroom management, class delivery, and class recording. Did the teacher do some prayer? So that's part of the classroom management. Do you have a sitting arrangement? Like that. And class delivery, is she prepared? That's teaching performance. How do you rate your teacher? Now, after defining the one variable, you again define the other variable. In this title, we have another variable, which is academic performance. here to determine the academic performance of the students. So the unit measure for academic performance could be your grade, which is depends on your school. Then the third one is to identify the effect of teaching performance and students' academic performance. Here, it is where the inferential statistics will be used. So first and second are only descriptive, but third is you can use inferential statistics and you can use the correlations. And we have a lot of correlation. I have a separate video for correlation, so you can use that one. So you can correlate the teaching performance and the student academic performance if it has an effect of the teaching performance. You can also determine the amount or the impact of teaching performance to student academic performance by using another, aside from correlational, we can use another inferential statistics. So this is how you formulate objectives of your study. The next one is we have descriptive research design. Descriptive research design, example of this one, we have the title, Production and Sustainability of Virgin Coconut Oil in Barangay Mercedes, Lago, Southern Leyte. Okay, the first technique is to identify the variables. So we have two variables here, production and sustainability. When do we say production? Production is how much are they produced during cropping, volume, how do they market it, and um, who are the buyers, those are production, and sustainability, how did they maintain or how did they sustain for a year, for how many years, so that they can produce virgin coconut oil. Did they do some waste management? So that's part of sustainability. So you will create, again, general objective and specific objective. The general objective, this one, to determine the production and sustainability of virgin coconut oil. The general is derived from your title. That's why we have here, we just copy and pasted. That's why this is a caps lock, but sorry for that. Then you need to have a specific objectives. Now for the specific objectives, let's go back again to the technique of making in objectives. You need to identify the variables. In this example, we have two variables, production and sustainability. Now, for descriptive, we need to establish a demographic profile so that we can determine who are our respondents of the study. Okay? Because when we say coconut farmers, it doesn't mean they're only old people or young people. So that's why we will put demographic profile. And then the second one could also be the social demographic profile, like their income or farm profile. You also put there because that would be a that could be a variable or a variable that could be significantly affect the production and sustainability. Number two, to assess the current state of VCO production and the sustainability of the research. The second objective is to assess the current state of the VCO production and the sustainability of the research environment. So the first and second one are descriptive statistics. We are just describing the current state of the VCO production and sustainability of the research environment, where our research environment is the Barangay Mercedes, Silago, Southern Leyte. Then the third one is inferential statistics. We need to identify factors that influence VCO production and sustainability. The factors could be coming from the demographic profile or the farm profile or the socioeconomic profile of the respondents. And then also, we could also have the farm profile. Farm profile could include their waste management, their fertilizer use, or their plot, how do they plant their coconut. So that's a part of identifying the factors. And then the last one is creating recommendation with intervention that could enhance VCO production and sustainability. So number 4 will be, when you do the data analysis, it would be based on number 3, number 2, and number 1. So this is a SMART objectives. Why? because your objectives refers to the title. So it should relate to the title also. Okay, so that's for the descriptive research design. We will go now to experimental research design, how to create in objectives and also out from the title. This one, I have given this one previously. The title is a comparative of Taropa corticosteroid extract and traditional painkillers in treating minor aches and pain. So we have here Taropa corticosteroid extract. And we also have traditional painkillers. These are the variable of interest. How do we determine if it is Taropa corticosteroid extract is more good in treating minor aches and pain compared to the traditional painkillers? So here we have the general objectives. So for general objective, it should be relate to the title. Actually, for general objectives, it is just the title, just paraphrasing. So we need to compare the two. We have the Taropa corticosteroid extract and the effectiveness of Taropa corticosteroid extract and traditional painkillers. So out from this general title, you can have the specific objectives. Since we have two variables here, we need to describe the effect of Taropa corticus independently. So you will have two tables. The first one is the effect of Taropa corticus leaf extract, and another one is traditional painkillers. So you need to describe each first. So that's specific. And here, you will be doing some descriptive statistics like mean, median, and mode. And then for number 2, you will compare the effect of Tarufa corticus leaf extract and traditional painkillers in treating minor aches and pain. So in comparing, you can compare the means by using test of significant difference. Or you can change this one to test if there is a significant, determine, let me change it, determine if there is a significant difference of the effect of the effect and traditional killers. So here you will have two objectives here, Tarufa leaf extract and traditional painkillers. You have the letter A for the Tarufa corticus leaf extract. For your results and discussion, you will have another table for Tarufa corticus leaf extract and another table for traditional painkillers. And then for the second one, you need to have a significant difference. And this one is inferential stat. So the first one is descriptive stat, and this one is inferential stat. So for the descriptive stat, you need to describe each treatment. You have the Tarupa corticus leaf extract, sun treatment, and then also here traditional painkillers. For Tarupa corticus leaf extract, it depends upon your treatment. How many treatment are you going to do and where are you going to apply it? So this is how you do objectives for experimental research design. So I have presented to you how to do a SMART objectives out from your title, and then I have presented to you some sample research titles. The third one is I have presented to you how to create research objectives based on the correlational research design, descriptive research design, and experimental research design. So that's all on how to create an objectives for efficient data analysis. So I hope you guys have learned this discussion. This is for my students, but I know many of us wants to learn how to do research, but I hope this helps. Thank you once again. Good day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.